you know what? Just in case any of you, you guys like to get cute and be like, oh, he's probably a moderate or something like that. This is about Mark Shaw, the Republican official that oversees the 10th district, which includes Lake County, which I talked about in this video, because I think I'll put this little ad on at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. But this is Mark Shaw, who was named the co-chair basically after last year's or after the midterm elections in 2018, where Republicans lost some seats in Illinois, throughout Illinois. Okay, and this was supposed to be a compromise between whatever. But as I understand it, and as I think you'll hear right here, he's the conservative part of the argument. And he's complaining about the Republicans in the state legislatures that aren't conservative enough.
Well, the problem with the current Republican Party leadership, at least as far as their leadership abilities, is they haven't really come out and taken a position on a number of the issues that face our General Assembly, the Republicans in our General Assembly, like the issues of Second Amendment rights and some of the things that our conservatives are more vocal about.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's for...
Okay, so and this is the same person who oversees the 10th district, who this individual, Gloria Schmidt, is running for the primary for the clerkship of the circuit 19th Judicial Circuit Court. And this is her Twitter feed, where she's retweeting in February of 2018, presumably endorsing these two Democratic reps, Deutsch and Cicciolini, have introduced the assault weapons ban of 2018. She's retweeting that as an endorsement, I assume. Particularly because the tweet immediately before that, in June 29, 2017, Trump news makes me sad. And here she is retweeting DACA, Dream Act now, okay? But this guy is not some moderate. He's on the further right end, just in case you're wondering. And these friends, they keep asking for more. Oh, yeah. That's it. Alexa, stop. Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I would appreciate it majorly. I'm here to talk a little bit more about the Jussie Smollett, case. I believe he's got to be in court on the 24th of February. So, pretty soon, what is that, like 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks, 12 days. And I want to go over a number of things, So far I haven't focused on the brothers yet. And I don't know that I'll ever will. I don't know that I need to, I feel very comfortable with where I am in my idea that, he was set up, dude. And, I thought this pretty comfortably last night. I'm next to positive. At this stage. In just 24 hours. That's all it took, dude. It's all it took! So, but just little bit of housekeeping things, because this is one of Trump's favorite things. This is all Trump, dude. All Trump. This is so good for Trump. He loves this because he set it up. He loves it, right? And, there's this common thing. It's been going on for a long time. It's the race issue. And a lot of people, myself included, for a long time, we're really tired of hearing people bitch about racism, okay? But at some point, when it was like, the number of people bitching about racism was as much as the people bitching about racism, and at some point I started getting more sick of that. Basically kind of what I was doing, and if you followed that, I think you do. But what's funny is everybody is accusing Jussie Smollett of like wanting to play the victim, but he's really not. And he actually is the victim. He didn't do this. He didn't set this up. Somebody did it to him and set this up. The one who's playing the victim, the one who loves to play the victim is Trump. He absolutely loves it. It's his favorite thing. And it's just so hilarious, that his supporters adore him. And that's what he's doing. It's always poor Trump. Poor Trump. They're out to get Trump. It's just pathetic, dude. But anyways, that's just a little bit of theme, or whatever. When I was thinking this through, I wondered why. I know the phone was a big issue, okay? And the police, they wanted to see the phone. And immediately I was like, that's kind of strange to me that, the authorities, the police would want the phone of somebody who was assaulted. Like that's unusual, it would seem to me, that somebody's assaulted and the police are asking to pry into the private life of the person who was assaulted and want his phone. And, and actually Jussie Smollett, particularly Jussie Smollett, being a person, a famous person, with all sorts, we all have private lives. We all have private issues, whatever it is, whether it's things we have secrets, things where we're breaking the law minorly, whatever. And that's what it turned out to be. It was basically probably didn't want to see, he didn't want to see the text of him buying drugs, asking for drugs and stuff like that with the two brothers. So, among other things, among all of his contacts and on and on. I mean, it's a legitimate concern of his to not want to turn that over. But the very fact that the police wanted it in the first place is what struck me as odd. And as I was just kind of like, how did that come to be? And it turns out that he was talking to somebody when the assault took place, okay? And some dude named Brandon Z. Moore, who was his manager, like his manager for his music career. And I actually think he helped him, sign with Sony or something, to record a few songs that I think were fairly successful. I don't know how successful Brandon Z is. I don't think he's like tier one, but maybe was on his, Jussie was probably a very good client, and had worked in a couple other management companies, one that did work. I forget, it's something, it doesn't matter. But if I was Jussie, the fact that he was on the phone with Brandon Z, and supposedly Brandon Z could hear through the phone some of the things were said, all right? And actually Jussie Smollett, sort of corroborated with him, and but that's the reason why the police wanted his phone, okay? And the police, somebody within the police department, probably starting at the very top with the superintendent, somebody knew that the incriminating evidence, that the brothers were on that phone, texting with you, okay? They wanted the phone, and the fact that Brandon Z talking to Jussie Smollett gave them the reason to ask for the phone. If I was Jussie Smollett, I would be very curious about that, extremely. And if I was Jussie Smollett, if I was looking for a traitor besides the brothers in this, in this story, I think my focus would point towards the person that, gave the cops a reason to ask for the phone, to need the phone. And, that obviously would be Brandon Z. Moore. So, all right. The rest of this video, the rest of this video is pretty much all about one person who I found odd from the very beginning. I did when I saw her. And because I just thought, this is such a huge high profile case, and her name kind of threw me off. Just, looking at her name, I'm like, those things don't seem to match up to me. She definitely was an ethnic minority. She had a German sounding name, and she's not dumb. I'm not saying that, but far from it. But some things just didn't seem to add up. And when I'm looking at, this is way back, when she first appeared on the scene, talking about Gloria Schmidt, the attorney for the two brothers, Team Abel, and I think that's who it is, Team Abel. I just like looking at her background back then. I'm like, she doesn't have a whole lot going on here. How the hell did she end up on this case, which is going to be, a very high profile, extremely high profile. Puts her on CBS This Morning, I think, GMA, and, grand media tour, and seemingly opening up a whole host of doorways and opportunities, from this case. How did she end up on this? How the hell, who put her with these people, or who put Team Abel with her? So, that's the crux of this video. And, I'm going to try to not just go on and on and on. So we'll just get right to the point, One of the first things that jumped out at me was this right here, dude. No doubt about it, okay? Gloria Schmidt, 2020. Now it's Gloria Schmidt Rodriguez. It wasn't before. It was just Gloria Schmidt. Rodriguez is her husband, who's an attorney too, and practices a variety of things. Social Security law, I think. Immigration law, She's on her Twitter account. She comes from Miami. She says, Chicago mama, formerly Gloria V. Schmidt. Okay, so maybe she got married. They have a child though. That's I don't know, 3 or 4, or 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe she got married. Who knows? Anyways, Chicago mama, wife, attorney, transplanted from Miami by way of Bolivia, and her husband's was born in Lima, Peru. I'm sure he's an American citizen. All like that. I don't care about that. Okay, my wife is Persian. My children are half Persian. I don't care, and I just don't care. It's just a fact. So, but, when you look at her law practice and stuff and the description of it, as well as what her husband practices, the law he practices, the kind of law he practices. The point I'm trying to get to is that, right off the shoot, I kind of got the feeling these people were on the left. They're not really on the right, and they don't seem like it at all. Any reasonable observer would think, these people are politically lined up on the left. Maybe not far left, but they're just not Republican seeming to me. Okay? So, but her practice is family law, estate planning, general litigation matters, and practical everyday legal advice. Handling one of the most high-profile cases of, celebrity cases that we've seen come along in 10 years. And you look down at her various skills and endorsement, legal research, family law, estate law, immigration law, so forth. That's not a major indicator. I'm just telling you, my general opinion was that, she didn't necessarily handle these kinds of cases, in that she seemed to be, just a Democrat type, left of center or left-leaning attorney. But she's running for a Republican in the Republican primary in 2020. It's for Lake County. It's and this is the petition for it. Gloria Schmidt Rodriguez. It gives her address. It's for the clerk of the city court of the 19th Judicial Circuit in Lake County, Illinois. Lake County, Illinois. I'd say it's probably a mix of Democrat, Republican. I think it's got a median income of $80,000. I think the seats flip back and forth, and it's got a mix. It's not all Republican, but it's not all Democrat either. And actually, the sitting clerk of the circuit court of the 19th Judicial Circuit is presently a Democrat. I think I had her up here. Her name was Weinstein, I think. Forget, dude. That's her. Erin Cartwright Weinstein. So I assume she's running against her. As long as there's no other entries into the Republican primary. And when you search that same thing, this whole thing, and add Republican primary candidates, the only person that comes up, the only form document that comes up is this one. So to date, to the best of my knowledge, she's the only one who's officially, entered the primary or began the process to enter the primary. And it says, we, the undersigned, members of and affiliated with the Republican Party, and registered voters and qualified primary electors of the Republican Party in the county of Lake, state of Illinois, do hereby petition the following named person shall be a candidate of the Republican Party for the nomination of the office of Clerk of the Circuit Court, of the 19th Judicial Circuit, Lake County, Illinois, to be voted for at the primary election, to be held on March 17th, 2020, not long from now, month and 5 days. So, but just to, there's not, like you can look at her law practice and various things, like how she describes herself. She does, I don't think she resides in that county, Lake County, or at least she doesn't own a home in that county, as best as I can tell when you look up the property records. She doesn't show as an owner of a home, and there's plenty of people with the last name Schmidt that don't, but nobody with Gloria Schmidt. But she has some offices in there. Her husband has an office there. A couple remote offices, as well as an office, I think her main office is in the city of Chicago. But one of her, in her description of herself, meet Gloria, down at the bottom, Gloria also runs a low-income law clinic named Gloria's Corner, specifically limited to representing low-income minority parties with domestic relations issues in Lake or Cook County. To apply for Gloria's Corner representation, please email Gloria Dorward. That must be a different Gloria. And I always thought it was domestic abuse issues, not domestic relations issues, but I don't know. I'm not an attorney. So anyways, that's just sort of more, that's kind of, I don't know. That sort of means Democrat to me, That's not exclusive, but anyways. And these are just the various offices of her law practice. Like I said, I think, actually, no, there's one where you go to the contact section. This is in the city of Chicago. This is in Lake County, this 9 North County Street. And I don't know how new that is. And then there's a couple other addresses over here that are different than the one I just showed you that are in Lake County. And I think both of these are. And I believe her husband is his practice is housed there. And her husband, like I said, practices a variety of law that, to me, sort of suggested they're just Democratic leaning, And where's just hang with me. That. No, must have closed it. There it is. That's her husband. George Rodriguez, in November 2010, Attorney Rodriguez returned home to Illinois to start his own practice, the law office of George Rodriguez, in legal areas, including but not limited to Social Security, disability, immigration, workers' compensation, real estate transactions, and property tax appeals. Nothing major significant there, but. So, and over at a different, here's her Twitter account, like I mentioned here. This is her personal Twitter account, which she just created in February 2019. And actually, that's when the incident took place. The incident took place, let's see. This was, what's the date of this? And I think it was 13 days before this. So it was late January 2019, I believe, because here, this is about the phone, the phone, getting the phone records of getting the phone. And this says 13 days after Smollett alleged he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. So, basically late January 2019 when it was happened, just to give you a proper time framework. So this is her personal Twitter account, which she goes by her Esquire, her lawyer, that she's a lawyer. And was created in February 2019. But she has, she has another Twitter account here for her that's older, but that's definitely her. That's Gloria Schmidt in Chicago, Illinois. And that's her law. gloriaslaw.com is her, okay? That's the same place where I was just reading about Gloria's Corner. Okay? That's the same website. It's her. And And this was created December 2011, even though she's used it fairly, a little before the incident. February 2018 was the last time she retweeted something about DACA, supporting DACA, okay? And the DREAM Act now, hashtag DREAM Act now. Do I have to read all this? I mean, do I have to go into it? Hashtag SCOTUS, hashtag DREAM Act now. That's being in favor of the DREAM Act. And I'm not opposed to the DREAM Act, but that's generally something that's left of center, dude. That's generally a Democratic position, all right? Here she is endorsing a Democrat, I think, or retweeting one. Democrat reps Deutsch and Cicciolini have introduced the assault weapons ban, okay, of 2018. She's retweeting it. I'm assuming that means her endorsement of it. Here's in June 29, 2017, Trump news makes me sad. I just endorsed George Antonio Rodriguez, her husband. That's all the way back in 2013. She's not, but for some reason, I mean, she's anti-Trump. I mean, and that's what it says there, Democrat, supports democratic ideals, which is just fine. But for some reason, after getting this case, she's now on the Republican primary for the clerk of the city court of the 19th Judicial Circuit of Lake County, Illinois. And the Republican official, of that district is this guy right here, Mark L. Shaw. And he's also the co-chair of the Illinois Republican Party. And he was actually, I think, recently made that co-chair. And that was like a compromise. He's pro-Trump. Totally. Okay? I mean, here is the Chicago Tribune sort of just giving you a little window into him, that he's pro-Trump. The state Republican Party last year, I think this is talking about 2018, where they lost some of their seats. Right, it's August 2019, but they're talking about last year, 2018, how, the blue wave, to some extent, for sure, made headways against Republicans, particularly in districts like this where it's a mix. The state Republican Party last year, while still heavily funded by Ronner, who I have no idea who that is, reached a compromise with more conservative party members to appoint Lake County GOP Chairman Mark Shaw, the co-chair of the state party. He also took over the leadership of the Republican County Chairmen's Association. The move avoided the appearance of a feud that would have shed even more light on some of the major divides among the state Republican Party. And those divisions were on full display at Thursday's breakfast. Schneider focused on reality of losses and a message of unity. Schneider. Shaw got right to President Trump. Aren't we happy to be standing here in the state's capital on Republican Day to tell Democrats that we're not going away? We're back and we're fighting with our president. He's pro-Trump. Mark Shaw is pro-Trump. The chairperson for that district or that county that she's on the primary for, the only person on the Republican primary, on the Republican ticket to run for clerk for that 19th Judicial Circuit. So what was the major change, from her Twitter account here being seemingly a full-blown Democrat and even anti-Trump to being on the Republican primary for this position in a county or a district that's headed by a Republican official that's seemingly quite pro-Trump? What changed? Would it be that she is overseeing the legal case of the Team Abel against Jussie Smollett? Would that be the change? Do you think? And that is the story there. I just wanted to show you two real quickly before I go. The various Republican officials, that's it. So here he is. That's Mark Shaw. That's that Republican official I was just reading about. He's the co-chairman and the 10th congressional district. The 10th congressional district encompasses Lake County, where she's running for that clerkship on the 19th Circuit. Okay? All right? And that is the story there, dude. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I will see you in the next video. Later, man. You know what? Just in case any of you, you guys like to get cute and be like, oh, he's probably moderate or something like that. This is about Mark Shaw, the Republican official that oversees the 10th district, which includes Lake County, which I talked about in this video, because I think I'll put this little ad on at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. But this is Mark Shaw, who was named the co-chair basically after last year's or after the midterm elections in 2018, where Republicans lost some seats in Illinois, throughout Illinois. Okay, and this was supposed to be a compromise between whatever. But as I understand it, and as I think you'll hear right here, he's the conservative part of the argument. And he's complaining about the Republicans in the state legislatures that aren't conservative enough.
The current Republican Party has failed to lead on.
Well, the problem with the current Republican Party leadership, at least as far as their leadership abilities, is they haven't really come out and taken a position on a number of the issues that face our General Assembly, the Republicans in our General Assembly, like the issues of Second Amendment rights and some of the things that our conservatives are more vocal about.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
Okay, so then this is the same person who oversees the 10th district, who this individual, Gloria Schmidt, is running for the primary for the clerkship of the Circuit 19th Judicial Circuit Court. And this is her Twitter feed, where she's retweeting in February of 2018, presumably endorsing these two Democratic reps, Deutsch and Cicciolini, have introduced the assault weapons ban of 2018. She's retweeting that as an endorsement, I assume, particularly because the tweet immediately before that, in June 29, 2017, Trump news makes me sad. And here she is retweeting DACA, Dream Act now, okay? But this guy is not some moderate. He's on the further right end, just in case you were wondering.